Hi, welcome to Basics. I'm Logan, I'm your instructor for this course, and this is chapter 4 where I'm going to teach you some warm-ups so you can get your fingers and your brain kind of used to the bass before you play, so you can figure out what kind of style you want to play in, sometimes what grooves you want to play, and sometimes even if you're jamming with a band or if you're coming up with stuff over a guitar chord, improvising, you can kind of figure out the riffs you want to play through your warm-ups, and then you have them down and in your head later on, so it's easier to play them with your band if you're improvising over like a recording or whatever. So the first thing is tab. Tab is, I already explained that last time, but there's tabs below this video so you can practice learning how to read them and it's going to be all good. And the first thing I'm going to teach that I can teach because I'm not pedaling down there is the spider crawl, where you can go when you do that, you want your pointer finger to be on the first fret, your middle finger to be on the second fret, your ring finger to be on the third, and your pinky to be on the fourth. And you always keep it on those frets. You shouldn't, I mean, not always, because sometimes you start up here and then you have to jump up to here. And if you have your third here, you have to slide or do something which won't always sound good. So you can always change up where your fingers lay when you learn the actual songs, but for the spider crawl, always keep it with those fingers on those frets, and you can play that on the lowest string, and then you can go up to here. And so on and so forth. You can keep moving that up, or whatever you want. And then the other thing that's on there is the major scale, which this is a shape. So once you kind of memorize where it is on the fretboard, on this note, which is G flat, you can play that on any note on the first, starting on any note on the first two, or not the first two, the last two strings on 4 and 3, because you can play this, because it only goes up 4 strings or 3 strings, not 4, so you can't start it on the second string or the first string because then it just won't work. There's not enough space for it. But you can play that, and that's the major scale to a thing, which it's just all of the notes that sound happy, I guess is the best way to put it, or nice. It's major. It's a thing. It's music theory concepts. That's advanced learning that I don't even have a good grasp on. But again, the major scale, it's right here. And then after that's the arpeggio, which is root, third, fifth. So it's just like a shortened, kind of like bite-sized piece of it that sounds all good right next to each other, and you can play, if the guitar root is G flat, you could just play on a third, and it's gonna have a little bit of clash to it, like here right now, but not enough as like this, where it's not a third or a fifth. So the major scale followed by the major arpeggio off of this note, which again doesn't have to be off of that note, but for the sake of the tab and because you're learning for the beginning, I would say start here, is and then that faster is just and again, you can play that from here, or you can even play that from the third string, like right here. And because of the way music theory works and stuff, if I were to play from here, from D flat, and you were to play from here, from G flat, it should sound the same. Or not the same. It should sound nice. It shouldn't be clashing a whole lot, because those two notes are a fifth apart, and so it's not going to sound dissonant. It's going to sound very nice. So let's do that. You can scroll down to the other tab and play G flat scale, and I'll play the D flat scale followed by the arpeggio. So now that you have that, you know how to play arpeggios, scales, and the spider crawl, which is really all you need for warm-ups. There's more advanced things you could do, like you could just play an arpeggio over and over and over and over, but I recommend those three things because that's a very good warm-up, and then you have concepts that you can build on later down, and you learn them and you practice them every day if you warm up, and eventually your major scale is going to become really good, and you're going to be able to just make up riffs off that. And making up riffs is fun. So tune in next time for, now that you can warm up, you can actually play other pre-existing riffs that you haven't made up and learn songs eventually, and good riffs and iconic bass lines.